Ahead of Pastor Oksu Park's Bible seminar, an evangelist training course for church members across the country was held at Good News Gangnam Church in Seoul from September 24th to 26th. Believers in Seoul participated at the Gangnam Church Parish, and believers from other regions and overseas participated through live broadcast on the internet. The believers testified of God's help every time they preached the gospel, and the pastor's sermons were held 5 times over 3 days, twice a day at 5:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. Pastor Park preached with a focus on the book of Acts, and especially in chapter 3, he explained the faith of Peter, who raised a lame man with faith in the resurrected Jesus, and encouraged the believers to boldly preach the gospel by relying on the living Jesus rather than on their own shortcomings. Peter has now become one with Jesus, so he can do what he couldn't do before. The pastor said that we have now become one with Jesus, so we spread the gospel, and whether we speak well or not, people will be saved through us. Those words really gave me hope, and whether I preached this gospel briefly or at length to the people I met, whether I preached it well or not, someone would be saved through me, and I too would be able to live as a person who spreads the gospel. The 2023 second half Bible seminars are scheduled to be held in Bisan, Jeonju, and Seoul in October. On the 27th, a joint worship service was held at Good News Hanbat Church, with Pastor Oksu Park invited. The believers in Daejeon and Chuncheon began with a performance prepared by the university department, followed by testimonies of the believers. Soon after, cellist Song Na-yi, violinist Jang Ha-yoon, soprano Hyo Jang-hyun, and duets and hymn performances by tenor Jose Aguilera and soprano Kim Hae-jin were held. Pastor Oksu Park used Acts 12 to preach the gospel that we are justified thanks to the eternal forgiveness of sins received through the blood of Jesus. The believers said they had a blessed time reawakening the importance of devotion. To celebrate the national holiday Chuseok, churches in each region held Chuseok multicultural festivals for multicultural residents and foreign students. On the 23rd, Gangnam, Incheon, Seongbuk, and Ansan churches held events, and on the 24th, Bisan megachurches and Gangneung, Seo Busan, Dongulsan, Suwon, and Daegu Suzeon churches held events. There were also booths where you could feel the holiday atmosphere, such as making songpyeon, experiencing hanbok and Korean food, and events for children and seniors. In Ansan, reporters from media outlets also participated, and officials from each district also graced the event with Chuseok greetings. At the indoor event, there were performances and mind lectures for visitors, and in particular, at Gangnam Church, Pastor Oksu Park preached the love of Jesus. I have been living in Korea for about a month. I know many foreigners through this event, and although I am a college student, I don't have many Korean friends who welcome me. But all the Korean friends I met through this event were kind and nice. So my heart was very happy. I hope to join the fair. I hope we can be together next time.
Very good. How did the pastor meet Jesus? He heard about the life. He knew it was hard and difficult. He was able to hear that Jesus ultimately helped him and saved him.
Celebrating Chuseok, it was a meaningful time to share God's love with our neighbors in the community. Myanmar Good News Yangon Church held a 2-day KELF meeting starting on September 26 ahead of the Bible seminar, invited by Pastor Oksu Park. About 150 pastors attended, and on the first day, Vice President of MCC, Bishop Koko Tang attended and delivered a congratulatory speech, and on the 27th, Dr. Iman Woo of MIT Theological Seminary delivered a congratulatory speech. There were cultural performances and a performance by the Azalea Choir, and missionary Jong Ho Kim preached the gospel on the topic of the tabernacle. Through Myanmar KELF meetings, the seeds of the gospel are being planted throughout Myanmar. The IWF Eswatini branch conducted a mind education workshop for 100 department heads and mid-level management officials of the Eswatini Public Service Department for about 2 weeks starting September 12. The Eswatini branch has been providing continuous training to high-ranking officials and civil servants from the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Education, and this workshop was also conducted at the request of the Vice Minister of Public Service for training support. Mind lectures, recreation, and job-type tests were conducted in the morning and afternoon, and on the last day, Vice Minister of Public Service Sipashapik presented a certificate of appreciation to the instructors who conducted the mind education on behalf of the Eswatini government.
What I liked most about the mind lecture, it has taught me to pour out my mind, my heart to the people that I'm close to. And also the mind lecture has taught me about the traits, what kind of a person I am, and how am I supposed to handle myself in terms of the mind, that now we must not walk by sight, we must walk by faith.
For 3 days starting September 22nd, the Dodoma branch in Tanzania recruited volunteers and held a training camp. Good News Corp members promoted the project mainly at universities, and about 100 people applied. Various programs were held for 3 days, including lectures to learn the mindset that volunteers should have. Recreation activities were held, and on Sunday morning, the last day of camp, all volunteers attended morning worship together and heard the gospel. The Dodoma branch in Tanzania said that they expect many youth to hear the gospel through future activities. The ENG Uganda branch held a K-Connect event at Kyambogo Public University on September 28. About 150 college students attended this event and had a great time learning about and interacting with Korean culture. Ugandan Good News Corps members taught various Korean culture to the college students by preparing icebreakers, Korean language classes, Taekwondo classes, K-pop classes, and Korean traditional games. Welcoming speeches were University Dean of Students Mr. Lawrence, followed by a congratulatory remark by Kigula Robert, Marketing Manager for sponsor Hema Water, before a closing remark by Rev. Kim Hyang-jin, Head of the Uganda Branch. Her Taeng, the Country Director, ENG Uganda Branch, preached the gospel to students under the theme of Hebrews 10:10, conveying that we are transformed from sinners to righteous through the precious blood of Jesus. Through this event, Ugandan college students and youth were exposed to Korean culture, and through this event, it was a meaningful time for the college students to be taught the gospel. Good News Kampala Church in Uganda held a KELF on Friday, September 29th with the theme of the Holy Tabernacle. About 50 pastors, bishops, and pastors from around the capital city and central region, Uganda attended this event. Attendees watched a KELF promotional video, an interview video with Pastor Aksu Park, and enjoyed various programs, including empowerment talk sessions from various keynote speakers. Missionary Kim Hyang-jin from Uganda preached the gospel on the topic of the way of forgiveness of sin as shown through the Holy Tabernacle, explaining in detail the method of forgiving sins in the Old Testament era. The KELF meeting was a meaningful time for believers to understand the true meaning of the tabernacle and for the seeds of the true gospel to be planted in their hearts. Last October, the ENG Uganda branch was invited to a meeting of all permanent secretaries held once a month in the cabinet room of the President's office and conducted mind training. Missionary Taeng Her reported on ENG Uganda activities, and Missionary Hyun Jin Kim gave mind lecture on the value of mindset change. He highlighted on the development process of Korea that was made possible through change in viewpoint of the leaders and citizens and pointed out the main problem that prevent mindset change, which is arrogance. On this day, permanent secretaries from all ministries were happy to receive contact information. I was thankful that God was opening a path for all government departments in Uganda.